I'm Pádraig Naughton, Director of Arts and Disability Ireland. A Different Republic was co-curated by Arts and Disability Ireland and the Fire Station Artist Studios in partnership with the Lab Gallery. The four commissions took as their starting points the 1916 proclamation and the 20th anniversary of the Commission of the Status of People with Disabilities. And what we asked the artists to do was to reflect and take whatever direction they wanted from those particular starting points.
I'm Helen Carey, Director of Fire Station Artist Studios. So Fire Station and ADI began their collaborations through a physical space, through the studio space, and then moved into mentoring where people partnered with each other to help each other in their artistic practices. And so finally, I suppose, gravitating towards exhibition with A Different Republic was pretty inevitable, so here we are.
My name is Suzanne Walsh, and I created a work for A Different Republic called The Land Where Nothing Is, which is a series of 12 poems, one on the window and 11 projected in the gallery inside. And they're made from different sources, including the poetry of Thomas MacDonagh, who was one of the leaders of the 1916 uprising, and his friend Francis Ledwidge. Also, comments I've been collecting on Facebook groups on topics such as homelessness, the environment, wildlife identification groups. I'm linking these also with the sound of this bird called the bittern, which is extinct in Ireland at this time and is mentioned in both the poetry of Francis Ledwidge and Thomas MacDonagh, including the poem Lament for Thomas MacDonagh, which was written after his death, which starts, "He shall not hear the bittern cry." So this sound is playing along with the poems inside the gallery at intervals, and for me, on a metaphorical level, also represents disappearing voices in our society at this time.
My name's Amanda Coogan, and the piece here is called "Can You See It? Can You Feel It? It's All in the Air." So it's a very large kind of wall or a painting made of emergency blankets and plastic rubble bags cut into strips. And then I have a pram with rotting oranges or decomposing oranges. And at the back of this wall of emergency blankets, there's a small video playing of an actor, a performer, wheeling this very pram through the streets of Belfast. I suppose the provocation of this commission was to look at the aspirations of these documents in the now and what has happened, or what moment of evolution we're at with these aspirations. So really looking at it through the lens of social justice and equality, and that lens very particularly is the sign language community's lens.
So the piece for A Different Republic is called "A Floor Plan Excavated from the Floor in the Room of the Floor Plan." And what it consists of are 6 photographs printed on vinyl, and they're installed against the windows and on the wall, and one is installed on the floor of the cube space in the Lab Gallery. So the photographs are mostly taken of surfaces. There are a few taken of the floor and of the walls inside the GPO, and then I wanted to use the floor of the actual exhibition space. The other photographs are of the house that my mother was born in on Mountjoy Square, and has since become the Dublin Adult Learning Centre. Ultimately, what I'm trying to do is to look at all those 3 aspects of the installation and use it as a means to excavate our understanding of ourselves, and very carefully and with some kind of trepidation, but also with an idea to how we discover new things about ourselves, but also how we can navigate through an unknown future, and how those relationships work with each other in the three spaces and in this location in the lab.
My name is Aideen Barry. I'm a visual artist, and I was commissioned for A Different Republic. The piece behind me is called A Smouldering Flock, and it's influenced, the title comes from a description in a short story by Charlotte Perkins Gilman, which is written in 1892, called The Yellow Wallpaper. It talks about something enshrined in paper, contained in paper. And then I thought about that when I thought about the original proclamation, which was printed in paper, and then our constitution, which also enshrines women in paper and their roles, and then also issues around our body autonomy in our gender. So with all that in mind, I thought about making my own little novella, a novella of vignettes, of drawings, and then projecting into those drawings little moving image works that would activate them, make them come out from behind the paper. So you don't know what is real and what is a fiction, a visual fiction in front of your eyes. So some of the drawings are autobiographical, but they also contain wrongs that have happened to women over the past 100 years and even now. Pauline Cummins' mural in the National Maternity Hospital being painted over and being censored. Things like Anne Lovett. They also cover things like the tomb babies in septic tanks. All of these are little parts of the vignettes, and they're activated through little bits of animation. And then they're presented in these vitrines, like a museum cabinet or a display, and that's at a particular head height of 190 millimeters, which is the eye level of somebody in a wheelchair. So it's a wheelchair accessible space that somebody can move around. It'll get us to consider how we are going to change our country for the better going forward in the next 100 years.